Hi everybody, welcome to activity 4 of creative reuse for preschoolers. When I say preschoolers, this activity is definitely geared towards the 3 to 5s and older if you ever work with them. This activity I call Sushi Train, and this is really fun and I think you'll find the kids will love it. It does require a little bit more assistance and supervision, but I guarantee they're going to love it and it will probably keep them occupied for quite some time, particularly after they've made the sushi. There's a lot of opportunity for make-believe and just playing around food and selling things or setting up a shop or a restaurant or something. You'll find it really fun, I hope. Anyway, I do. I love it. So what we're going to start off with are some materials. So the first types of materials you're going to need are some packaging containers. Anything from, I'll just put this down here so you can see, anything from just these plastic trays that are used for veggies or whatever. Something like these are pretty good. But the best things to use for this, because we are making sushi, are old sushi containers. Again, you know, you're probably going to need to prepare them by cleaning them a bit. Which hopefully you wouldn't have to do too much with them. I mean, I only try and collect things that are already clean. I don't need to clean things more than I want to. So there's another one. There's that one as well. This one's a little bit big, possibly too big for what I'm going to do today. So we start with them, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use plastic bags. Now I know probably plastic bags aren't allowed in your centres for the suffocation risk, but we're not going to use complete plastic bags. We're going to chop them up into little bits. So I'm just going to use a bit of pair of scissors to just chop them into strips, probably about that, so you can stretch the bag out like this and chop them into little strips so there's no suffocation hazard at all. Like I said, this does require a little bit more supervision than other activities. There's a little bit more involvement by you, but it'll be worth it because it's a lot of fun. So I've got that yellow bag. I've got this green bag, which is going to be my main sushi placemat kind of thing. And then I've got things like, I've got this shredded paper that somebody gave me, which I think looks a little bit like carrot. Other things you might be able to use, this is an old raincoat that could be chopped up. So we need things like really soft plastic because ultimately you're going to be making these fake foods exactly how you would make real sushi. Another thing you could possibly use is the foam that we used in a previous activity, but for this you'd want to cut it up into little strips like this. This could be something like tofu. Replicate tofu or, well, tofu. So I'm just going to cut up that because I'm going to use that in my first sushi roll. So again, a little bit of preparation on your part. You might want to cut up things like this into strips. Some of the kids can cut certain things up. There's also this, I don't even know what it is. It's some sort of fabric that is used a lot in packaging. And this is really good too because if you strip it down the grain, it's really easy for kids to strip into lengths like that. And it's kind of fun. They like doing that as well. So anything that's kind of soft plastic, soft foam, that sort of thing. So the first thing I'm going to do, and this is what you might need to do to prepare this activity, is cut some preferably food coloured plastic. So I don't use any blue plastic for this because I want it to look realistic. It's way more fun if it looks realistic. Into sheets about A4 size or about the size of a seaweed sheet, so like that. So I'm going to put the green side down because that's going to be the outside of my sushi. Now to make life a little bit easier, if you want, you could use some double-sided tape. This is a double-sided tape here. This means that you don't have to muck around with tape like this, which we will also be using a bit later maybe. So if you put some double-sided tape on your pre-cut pieces of plastic, when the kids roll their sushi up, all they have to do is peel the backing off this. In fact, probably do that first. This is a little fine motor skill activity right here, finding the corner of that and peeling it off. So that's now sticky on the edge here with the double-sided tape. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load it up with ingredients. So here's my first ingredient, which is a yellow plastic. I'm going to put it up the end here. And then I'm going to get a strip of this stuff and put that down, hold it in place. A little bit of my tofu, maybe a little bit of carrot. Grab some of that. Lay that out like that. That's probably all we need. Like most rolled up foods, you don't want to overpack it because it'll just burst at the seams. So we're going to pull that up like that and then start rolling this up and tucking all the bits in as we go. A little bit of manual dexterity involved here, but totally worth the results. Roll that up, roll that up, roll that up. You can use all sorts of things in here. You just might need to experiment and look at things a little bit differently. So now I'm just rolling that onto that double-sided tape so it's going to hold really nicely. And there's my sushi roll all ready to go. Now this is where you come in, because this is a little bit hard to cut. I've got some big scissors here that work really well for this. I'm just going to cut it. So once the kids have rolled up their roll, I'm going to cut this into little sushi size pieces, and then we're going to plate up. So here's my plate, my sushi tray. And that's a very quick one. You can get really interesting results with this activity, and the kids really enjoy making up the trays. The other thing that they can do is, as they make them, they can share with other kids so that they get a variety mix, because you'll get probably about 10 pieces from this one roll. I'm just going to keep doing that. You can obviously make them a bit bigger. I've made some little mini ones here. When you're cutting it, you need to sort of hold on the end and make sure when they're rolling them up, that they roll them up nice and tightly as you possibly can. And again, it's one of those activities that the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I'm just going to arrange them like that. I'll give you a good look at that. There's a nice little tray of sushi there. So probably what I'd do is I'll fill this in with something else. It's probably not, well, it's definitely not an activity for tiny, tiny children, but for the 3 to 5s, it's a really good make-believe play activity, because after this they can then go and make a restaurant or a little sushi stall. It also gives you the opportunity to talk about different cuisines and how different people eat, how food's prepared, what sort of ingredients we might use in making our sushi, talking about fresh ingredients. You then might even be able to make the real stuff, which you've probably already done. But this is just a really good way of reusing all this stuff that we collect, like trays that just get thrown away. These are kind of fun to use as well because they've got lids and they can take them home. And one thing I try and encourage too is that when they make the sushi, we don't tell the parents when they come and pick them up, and they see if they can fool their parents to thinking that it's real food. Often parents play along, which is really good too. I hope you enjoy it. Experiment, have fun, and thank you for watching.